Good morning, everyone, panelists. Today is really a carryover from yesterday in exploring available financing options within the financial industry space in Belize. So we looked at yesterday what's available in development banking and also what's available in the credit union space. And today it's more the domestic banks and also the uniqueness of the national bank that's also an actor in this space. I will kick off with just indicating that a takeaway from yesterday would be that the issue of cost of financing averaging around, at least it was indicated, averaging around 9%. And also the accessibility component to attracting investment financing. And so today I want to ask Ms. Rubina, how is Belize Bank supporting investors in accessing capital for large-scale infrastructure and commercial projects?
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here representing Belize Bank. We at the Belize Bank see ourselves or our role more than just financing. What we are partners to build Belize's future. We recognize that large-scale infrastructure projects and commercial projects are the engines of our nation's progress. So be it solar plants, large infrastructure resort developments, condo developments, airport expansions, major road upgrades, we're open and ready to finance. We recognize that one size does not fit all. So we have tailored solutions, project-specific solutions, and some of our core offerings include project finance, which is my favorite. For project finance, the repayment of these facilities are done directly from the cash flow of the project. We offer flexible repayment structures. We offer moratoriums on construction loans. And one important thing when we're financing large resort developments, what we do is engage with independent engineers to verify the milestones of the project, and this accountability protects the bank and builds investor confidence. We also offer working capital loans and trade financing facilities. Working capital loans can be in the form of overdrafts, revolving credits, to support your day-to-day liquidity management needs. We also offer trade financing facilities being standby letters of credit, documentary letters of credit, performance bonds, performance guarantees, which we have partnered with the IDB Invest through the trade facilitation program, which assists in strengthening cross-border transaction and cross-border financing. And now we're also getting into climate-friendly financing, which again, I'm an advocate for. With the whole strategy with the government going green, I think it's something important. The bank is developing a comprehensive ESG framework, and our strength, we are emphasizing on green finance loans. We are promoting green finance loans to our commercial clients, and we emphasize that having green climate-friendly financing options helps the economy as well. And for this, we have partnered with Caribbean Development Fund through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, where they share the risk with us, and they support green financing loans which would have not been bankable due to collateral constraints. So this program not only assists with the financing part, but they also provide technical assistance to our customers. We also have our international leg of the bank, which is Belize Bank International Limited. For lots of major resorts development, we know that they might have already received funding from some international or multinational company. We recognize that, however, if you're selling condos or villas in a resort, and buyers might need financing too, so we could support that through our international bank, which is Belize Bank International Limited. So Belize Bank is open and ready to finance, and I hope I could hear and engage with some of you on some projects that we could assist with.
Thank you for that comprehensive summary there. And also, Mr. Elliott, how is the National Bank, in your instance, enabling investors to secure funding for enterprise, energy, and logistics?
Well, I want to start at the beginning. The National Bank, if you ever look up the Articles of Association for National Bank, it actually reads like this: a state-owned company formed by the government of Belize mainly to provide concessionary credit to public officers, teachers, and other needy Belizeans. That's it. That is literally what it says. Now, when you think, that's a good thing, just in case you're wondering. And under the little heading of other needy Belizeans, you know who I consider needy? Or who we consider needy? MSMEs. There is a $2 billion financing gap for MSMEs in Belize. And the main reasons that we can see in the banking sector and the financial sector for that is because only about 16 to 20% of businesses in Belize actually know how to manage a business. Majority of entrepreneurs don't know how to manage, don't know how to put their books together, don't know how to do a proper anything in some cases. The common constraint that we find, and I'm starting this way for a reason, is companies coming to us, whether a startup, and by the way, when I say startup, I'm thinking early stage startup. You could be a startup for 10 years as far as I'm concerned if you haven't met the criteria to move from seed to early stage growth. Now, that's a different conversation. My point is that many of them are coming with commingled funds. I'm certain you guys meet the same thing. Mm-hmm. They have a brilliant idea. They've been running a business maybe for the last year, 2 years, 3 years, and all their funds are mixed up. You look at their bank statement. If they have a bank account, it is, you see payments to suppliers, and right underneath that you see payments for Netflix. Right? You see Chow San. And then you see income from a customer. And then you go back to paying rent. It's all in the one account. And then they come to the bank and we sit down with them and we have to figure out, okay, how much is this customer really making in his business? Where is this money really coming? Where is it going? And that's if they have a bank account. A lot of times the team is spent trying to help them piece together financials by looking at receipts, things coming out of an exercise book, to just make it. That takes up a lot of our business banking unit time. Those are the constraints that are really causing issues with access to finance. And that's just level one. I listened to Jolie, my old classmate, young classmate, I don't know, she doesn't age, right? Right? Talk about her challenges. Businesses, MSME face pain points every single day. Hiring staff, dealing with the tax obligations, marketing, figuring how to get your product to market, which market segment will you target, and the list goes on. I come to this point by saying that for the National Bank of Belize, one of the things that we are moving towards, I will say moving towards as opposed to being there because it's something that we're developing. If you know anything about the bank, we focus a lot on stabilizing, especially for the last year. It is about finding the pain points for the MSMEs. That is what my team is focusing on. How do we help this business understand its business? The loan products will follow. Because you can get into all the management frameworks you want. We can talk about all of these things that you want to talk about ocean, strategic choices, cascade, porters, SWATs, you can do all of that. In the end of the day, businesses fail for 3 reasons. One of these 3 reasons, or many of them have them all: bad strategy, bad analysis of business risk, and bad capital structure. Think about it. A business starts with a bad strategy. They didn't properly analyze the risks. They thought they were going to be the only one. They end up getting competition. They fail. We give them a term loan for a business that has revenues that is cyclical. But you give them a term loan that they have to pay the same thing every month without fail. They're going to have at some point deficits. They're going to default. And so what we're doing at NBB is to make sure that we understand the challenges, acknowledge that where we are in Belize, very few people actually know how to manage their business. And let's be frank, our bank is a small bank. We only represent 3.5% of the market. We're the newest kid on the block. Most of the businesses that knew how to manage their business is already either to my left or to my right. We get the edge cases. We get the people who are either the startup or the people who are trying to figure it out. And we have to evolve, not the customer. We have to evolve to offer what is now known as the SME banking ecosystem, where you are going and doing value added. If you think about the Royal Bank of Canada, they help you even set up your business at the company's registry. They have an online platform called Owner. Some of them are helping you with HR stuff. Some of them are helping you with marketing. So in the next couple of months and years, that's what you're going to see from NBB in terms of helping investment.
Making reference to your left and to the right almost sounds like a crucifix reference. But
And I'm Jesus.
We won't invoke any further on
Well,
that.
just in case, that wasn't intended. It's a fact, left, right.
Mr. Carcomo, having said all of that, how is Atlantic Bank working with international partners to provide financing solution to high-impact investments?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, colleagues. And yes, there's a space for, the market is so wide, there's a space for all the financial players, right, including Development Bank. So we, at Atlantic Bank, we manage capital, obviously. But we just don't, and when we speak about capital, we need to actually, that's not, the challenge is not really finding the capital, it's finding the right capital, a capital that is sustainable, a capital that is flexible. You mentioned that, which allows for long-term investment. Because most of these projects, especially when you speak about sustainability, you're not talking long-term. It is, short-term, sorry. It is long-term. And in addition to that, and even most important, is the fact that they must align with Belize's development priorities. That is where it stands. That should be the base. So we see our role at Atlantic Bank as bridging that capital to develop opportunities. And when I mention capital, I can't downplay the importance of local deposits. We have to give high regards to our deposit base within Belize. But in addition to that, it also includes, and invariably, international capital. So, and of course, to develop these high-impact projects like sustainable and climate-resilient agriculture, climate-resilient tourism, housing, utilities, and sustainable infrastructure. And how do we achieve that? It's through partnerships. We have also, as well, partnership with the IDB and the IFC. With the IDB, they have supported us with credit lines to assist, particularly our MSMEs, because even though, and in this summit, we try to tailor to high-impact investments, which includes renewable energy, which invariably has or demands high capital investment. We can't downplay the fact that aggregately, MSMEs can also participate in high-impact investments, aggregately, right? And even individually by transitioning from say the diesel power generators to small solar system that will allow them to be more efficient and sustainable, right? Of course, I cannot leave this room without mentioning our relationship or partnership rather with our correspondent banks. Highly important, right? We saw and we witnessed years ago when Belize was de-risked, right? Where all banks were affected. They lost their correspondent bank with Bank of America, particularly, right? Atlantic Bank weathered this storm simply because we had other relationships. We had, luckily, we had another good friend, Bank of New York, which allowed us to continue to assist our customers to access and to access that bridge that enables them with the global market, basically for attracting attracting funds from abroad and also continue to do their business abroad. To the extent that we even assisted the other banks, simply because the other banks were strapped and they couldn't do. So we also assisted, right? So I want to mention the three correspondent banks that we have: U.S. Century, Bank of New York, and we've recently acquired a relationship with J.P. Morgan, which goes a long way, and that will allow us to do and to entertain those high impact single investments that would require higher capital. So we have a mix. So while we want to target those high impact investments, we cannot downplay, as I said, the strength of the MSMEs, because we do. So we have the two extremes. But in addition to that, though, and when we're talking about capital, we also need to manage the risks, credit risks. So we have also, through our partnerships with the IDB, we are rolling out the environmental and social management system in the bank that will allow us to apply best practices, environmental and social safeguards in all our credit decisions. So investors will be able to know that their investments are sustainable and they are meeting international best practices.
Thank you for that response. As a last plug, given that we're kind of strapped for time, I'll give each of you about 2 minutes and a half each to respond to another takeaway from yesterday, being that within the industry we have close to $1 billion in excess liquidity. Our investors want to know exactly how are you now going to assist them in unlocking some of that, because you sitting on that money is not making you any money and not doing anything for your bottom line, and it's not entertaining any kind of investment. So take it away, Ms. Urbina.
Sure. We recognize that investors need two things: opportunity and risk mitigation. Unfortunately, we have a 25% single borrower limit. So although we're liquid, we are crunched with that 25%. So what we do is we use syndicated loans to share exposure with other institutions. That way the risk is spread across and we are able to scale on large projects. Another thing that we are engaging with is a multinational company, which is IFC, on risk-sharing facilities. So this allows us to invest in these large projects, but also share the risk with IFC. Another important thing we're doing is with going back to the credit risk abatement facility that I mentioned earlier, that it's not just about sharing risk, it's offering technical assistance to our customers to ensure that the projects that they're investing are sustainable, viable, and structured for long-term success. Another important thing is all these partnerships are important, but this is all backed by our robust risk management framework. We have a strong balance sheet, which I'm always been proud of. which shows our financial strength and capacity of supporting these large projects. We recently had our credit ratings, which is a stable outlook with Caracris. We are the only bank who has been credit rated in Belize. So we have the money, we're here, we're open to invest, so I'm looking forward to engaging with all of you later on potential projects that we could do together.
Mr.
Well, we don't have all that liquidity, you know. How much time I have here? Because there's so many ways we could actually address this particular question, but let me go to the heart of what.
Nutshell version.
Yes, sir. The simple thing here is, as I said before, and I will say it this way, our policies. I'll keep it that simple. We are changing, NBB is changing its policies, how we approach risks. Because let's be honest, what's really what we're talking about when we're talking finance risks? How do we mitigate, manage, deal, access, identify risks? Because that's what the banks are concerned about. Are you going to pay me back? Can you pay me back? Now, what happens more often than not is when we don't do a proper risk assessment of the client. And then this is what you're going to see coming strongly from the MBB team to help us move money to MSMEs. What used to happen in the past is a small business person, and you're going to hear me talk a lot about MSMEs because really that's where our focus is at NBB. We don't have the capital for high-level corporate. That's a reality. You understand our industry, you will know what I mean by that. I think you just referenced the 25% limit. We hit 25% easily. Right now, our capital, a year ago, when I took on the role as general manager, November 1st last year, capital was 10 million. 25% of that is 2.5 million. That's actually the floor, by the way. We're at 16 million now. From November to now, 25% of that is 4 million. So the maximum we could lend any single borrower at National Bank is 4 million. So that's a reality. Can't do anything about that until that capital grows. So our focus is on MSMEs, which in my mind is where the gap is anyway. What we do, as I said before, is now we look at policy. Before, it used to be a MSME walks in with a bright idea and they get rejected just because their books were amiss. What we're doing now is, as I said before, we make it a point. We sit down with you, we're trying to figure out what's the best formula. I mean, we can't lend everybody, but at some point we have to do a little bit more than just looking at a bit. I have seen bankers do this, and NBB, if you ever come to this bank and any of our officers ever do this, let me know, because I've seen people throw down on the table people's business plan and call it things like junk and whatever. That should never happen at NBB. You come in, we're trying to figure out the way, what fits for you, tailor-made. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we have to find another way around it, but that's what we're doing at the bank to help move funds to the MSMEs that need it. All right, so I'm looking forward to one day, like I told you, when Ikuma comes through our doors and we can do that loan. And I saw, well, they left, I saw some other MSMEs in the room. So that's our way of, that's the NBB way, if I can call it that.
Can you give us the Atlantic way?
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Yes, so Atlantic Bank, and yes, we do pride ourselves too in attending to the needs of our MSMEs. Some years ago, we did a comprehensive study, reaching out, doing different forums with that segment. So to enable us to tailor our products and services to meet that segment of our market, because we recognize the importance of MSMEs in our economy. What we have then developed is 3 pillars, basically, in trying to attend to that market, which aggregately is a big market. All the banks can recognize that over 80% of our customer base are MSMEs. So they are strong, and we have to, we need to, we have an obligation to provide the level of products and services to that market. So the three pillars are innovation, customer experience, and efficiency. In innovation, we believe in digital transformation, so most of what we have done so far is aligned with improving the level of efficiencies for that segment. So we have tailored all our products and services, and we were able to do that simply by going out, listening to customers, finding out where do they fit in terms of whether they consider themselves micro, small, medium. As a matter of fact, we had some large, which felt that they were medium, or some medium that think that they were large, right? So it was a healthy forums that we conducted, and of course, together with BELTRAIDE, I must mention they have been our partners all along this way too, to try to understand more, and all in an effort to try to reach out and actually, especially if we're talking about that liquidity, which most banks, except National Bank, is that have that issue where and customers would reach out to you and say, hey, you guys have all that money, and my application is sitting down somewhere. What are you guys doing? So, but it goes a long way in terms of trying to understand the customer, the risk profile of the customer, as well as the industry. All right, and back again the development priorities of the country.
Thank you, Mr. Carcamo. So we've heard from industry participants, and for the purposes of today's discussion, they are our financial politicians who have been promising that monies should start flowing. Thank you all for your attention. We're